Edition starts now. Now we kickstart this particular program from the corridors of justice, and the Nairobi court was on Monday informed that 3 firearms submitted to the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, that is DCI, ballistic lab for examination were not linked to the bullet that killed the Gen Z protester Rex Masai. Testifying before the court, DCI firearms examiner, that is Alex Mutindi Mwandawiro, stated that the weapons which had been presented as possible evidence in the case did not discharge the bullet presented by the Independent Policing Oversight Authority. Now, the firearms had been taken to the DCI lab following the fatal shooting of Rex Masai during last year's anti-government demonstrations staged by the Gen Z protesters.
Your Honor, the 3 pistols I've just mentioned cannot have fired exhibit EPOA A1. Cannot have fired exhibit EPOA A1 because their caliber is 9x19 millimeters. There was a pistol which was mentioned in the memo form by EPOA, which was not submitted for examination. First day of July 2024, our laboratory received an exhibit from EPOA headquarters. This exhibit, Your Honor, was brought to our laboratory by ADF. And this particular exhibit, Your Honor, as it was received in our laboratory, it was allocated laboratory number 364 of 2024. 24. Your Honor, and it was a damaged, fired bullet jacketing. A damaged, fired. It is me who examined the said exhibit, and my examination weighed 0.83 grams. 0.83 grams. It was a piece of a rifle bullet and formerly a component of a caliber 5.56 by 45 millimeter ammunition bullet. A caliber 5.56 by 45 millimeter ammunition bullet. Your Honor, physical examination of EPOA A1 revealed what we call as land engraved areas. When you look at the surface of the bullet, you can count those 6 land engraved areas, and they were of a right-hand twist. They tend to bend to the right.
Right, still in the corridors of justice, a Nairobi court also summoned 2 Directorate of Criminal Investigations officers to appear in court on October 1st of 2025 to explain allegations that gadgets belonging to filmmakers behind the BBC documentary, that is Blood Parliament, were secretly installed with surveillance software. Now, the summons were installed after lawyer Ian Mutiso, presenting the 4 filmmakers, urged the court to compel the officers to clarify the circumstances surrounding the alleged surveillance. Now, last week, the filmmakers Nicholas Wambugu, Brian Adagala, Mark Denver, and Christopher Mai told the court that their devices had been tampered with while in police custody. According to the forensic report tabled in court by the University of Toronto's Citizen Lab, Wambugu's phone was infected with the commercial spyware, that is Flexi Spy, between May 2nd, when it was confiscated by police, and July 10th, when it was returned to him. Now, the magistrate adjourned the case and scheduled it for mention on October 1st, when the 2 DCI officers are expected to appear and shed light on the claims.
Mimi nimekuwa nimekasirika sana kwa sababu hii serikali inafai defend, na sasa venye wali kwangu mimi naona wali wamekuwa condemned falsely. Na tena sasa since then hawa vijana wanne wameteseka sana, still wazazi tumeteseka sana, tumegojeka, tumekuwa we are not at peace anytime, na tena kuwa frustrated na hii postponement. Tumekuja mara mingi tunaambiwa mtu fulani hakuji, hiyo tunaona like wanyonge tumenyongwa sana at just because maybe we don't have that authority.
I mentioned before Honorable Wambo, and it's equally important to show my frustrations and to why the DCI did not get to play in court. This date was evidently taken under the court directions, and what is important for you to know today is that the court has accepted our application, whereby we have sought for summons against the DCI, the two officers who are handling this particular matter. And the reason for those particular summons, I want them to come and explain how my client's gadgets moved from the date they were arrested, on the 2nd of May, who actually reported the particular gadgets in the inventory form. From the inventory form, who took custody of the said gadgets within the forensic department. Ideally, the reason why I'm stating the chain of custody is very important is because from the preliminary evidence that we do have about the spyware being in our client's gadgets, it's very, very important that we find the person who was actually responsible. As much as the DCI is a whole institution, there are people who are making decisions and they need to actually be accountable for those particular decisions. Something also which is very important, during our submission of the said application, rather bringing the attention of the spyware to the court, apparently this is an issue which is also expressed in another matter, whereby the DCI planted a bug in somebody's computer. I'm telling you, we have a serious problem of privacy being infringed in this country. And at this particular moment, if we do not get to address it right now, I can tell you, you will be under serious scrutiny from the government.
All right, moving on, police in Kitengela, Kajiado County have arrested a 24-year-old woman for allegedly stabbing her 38-year-old husband to death following a domestic dispute. Now, the incident occurred on Sunday in the Orata area of Kitengela town, and according to witnesses, the couple, who had reportedly attended a church service earlier in the day, engaged in a quarrel that escalated into a fatal physical confrontation. Now, the victim is said to have sustained deep stab wounds on his thigh. Good Samaritans and neighbors rushed him to a nearby sub-county hospital where he succumbed to his injuries while undergoing treatment. Now, speaking to the media, the victim's father said the suspect called him shortly after the incident and confessed to stabbing her husband. Reports indicate that the couple had been married for 2 years, with their union allegedly plagued by frequent domestic disputes.
Kwa sababu mwanaume alipika nduru mara moja. Kisema huyu ananiua na akanyamaza. Sasa tukajaribu kuja kuangalia, mama akawa mkali, akawa hataki mtu aingie kwa nyumba. Sasa majirani tukawa tunajaribu, amekuwa mkali, akapigia maamko, si maamko naye ziona anakaa tu karibu. Akafika. Kufika ndio akakuja, tukajaribu kuinua yule jamaa, lakini akawa amebleed sana. Pikipiki hakuna yenye nakubali kumbeba kwa sababu longi yote ni damu. Akabeba tu hivyo akihanga hivyo mpaka Saitoti. Sasa mimi nikalala. Asubuhi niamka nasikia taarifa kwamba aliaga dunia.
Kama jana tulikuwa naye kanisani na tukatoka tu vizuri mwendo wa kitu saa 12, na baada ya kufika hapo yeye akasema akimbie kwake na sisi tukaenda kwetu. Hatujui mzozo mkali kiasi hicho umetokana na nini. Kitu ninaweza kusema, yeye alikuwa anaonekana ni mtu wa temper. So anaweza kujam na afanye chochote. Hata kuna siku tu akiwa pale kwangu kwa nyumba, dada huyo na mke wangu walikuwa, sijui huyo kijana waliulizana nini. Sasa kijana akamchapa kofi. Alipomchapa kofi, yeye huyo mwanamke aliamuka akakimbia na ndani akakuja na kisu. Sasa mama yake ndiye alizuia hiyo. Kitu ningeomba sana kwa hawa vijana ambao wako siku hizi ama hirika, wamkubali Mwenyezi Mungu na wawe watu wa kupenda ushauri na wawe watu wa kunyenyekea sana, kwa sababu fujo na fracts hizo hazina faida ya aina yoyote ambayo inaweza kukupea. Hakuna kitu unaweza kusolve na kifua. Nchi ina sheria na mwanadamu amepewa sheria na Mwenyezi Mungu.
Right, at the same time, police in Elbagon, Nakuru County have arrested a farmhand accused of brutally murdering an elderly couple and dumping their bodies in a pit latrine within their compound. Now, the suspect, identified as Juma Wanyama, worked for the late Pius Machogu and Jerusha Kwamboka. And according to police reports, Wanyama allegedly killed the couple on Saturday night before neighbors raised their alarm and the following day after failing to locate them. Elbagon Sub-County Police Commander confirmed that Wanyama later confessed to the killings, leading police to the pit latrine where the bodies were discovered. Police are looking for a house help who was also in the house and is yet to be traced. The bodies of the deceased were taken to Elbagon Sub-County Hospital mortuary for postmortem examinations as investigations into the motive of the murder continues.
Kuna shimo moja ilikuwa imefungwa, ikabidi sababu alikuwa amepelekwa na polisi tufuje kufuri. Tulipoangalia ndani tukakuta kwamba mama ndiye alikuwa anaonekana, alikuwa juu.
Kwa sasa tunashuku pia mama yule msichana ambaye ni msichana wa kazi hapa nyumbani, huenda ikawa labda ako kwa kisima ama labda hatujui mahali yako. Kwa sasa tuko katika giza nene ambalo hatujui la kufanya. Tunaomba serikali ingilie kati ili tuweze kujua ukweli.
Inakaa kuna kitu ilikasirisha yeye, ama ni yeye ni mtu amerani basaka, ama ni bangi, ama ni tutajua tu in the investigation. So kwa saa hii hatutaki speculation. DCI is anaendelea na investigation.
Right, quite an unfortunate story right there. Now moving on to matters politics, a coalition of more than 50 political parties has issued a stern warning to the newly constituted Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, that is the IEBC, accusing it of sidelining them in key electoral discussions. In a statement delivered by Dr. Augustus Chalomuli, the interim chair of the political parties caucus, the coalition said that the IEBC has failed to engage them despite political parties being its principal stakeholders. Now, the leaders expressed concern that this exclusion undermines the spirit of multi-party democracy and vowed to protect multipartyism at all costs. They further accused the registrar of political parties of targeting some of their member parties for deregistration, warning that such actions threaten the transparency of the IEBC.
Multi-party democracy is not a given. It was paid for in full by Kenyan blood, and that's why you have all these political parties in existence. Democracy must be defended by all means, and we as political parties shall defend it to the very end. It is so unfortunate that the ORPP can deny political parties and Kenyans at large their right to belong to political parties. As things stand now, one cannot be recognized as a member of a political party, even if he or she has an identity card. One must be registered as a voter. This is a matter that is currently in courts, and we are hoping for a favorable verdict so as to correct this anomaly, so that Kenyans can belong to a political party, whether you are a voter or not.
Now, the Chief Justice Martha Koome has called for urgent and collective efforts to eradicate child labor in Kenya, describing it as an evil that robs children of their dignity and future. Now, speaking during the third edition of the Employment and Labor Relations Court Annual Symposium held in Nairobi under the theme of elimination of all forms of child labor, Justice Koome urged state agencies, employers, trade unions, and civil society organizations to intensify their efforts to protect children from exploitation. She stressed that the full implementation of the Kenyan Constitution requires safeguarding children's rights and ensuring that they are in school rather than at work. Koome added that eliminating child labor is not only a legal and moral duty, but also a step towards building a just and equitable society.
A child engaged in labor is a child robbed of their childhood. They are exposed to physical injuries, psychological trauma, and a lifelong cycle of poverty. The continuation of child labor represents a significant break on our human capital development and our long-term economic prosperity. It is a national crisis that demands a national conscious and a unified response.
What systemic failure is this that we have that is causing our children not to be in school, but to be in the worst form of workplaces? Is it our failure in our governance? Is it our failure in our education? We all leave this place as champions of justice for our children against work.
All right, 16 minutes past the top of the hour. We're taking a short breather here on EBN Prime Edition, but we'll be back in just a bit.
Watching EBN TV, transforming your world. You are watching EBN TV, transforming your world.
EBN TV cares about the growth of your business. To advertise with us, call 0725 386 501 or 0740 653 453. EBN TV, transforming your world.
You are watching EBN TV, transforming your world.
From Nairobi, Kenya, this is EBN TV.
You are watching EBN TV, transforming your world.
All right, welcome back. Moving on, Kiharu Member of Parliament and former National Assembly Budget Committee Chair Ndindi Nyoro has defended his recent outspoken stance on corruption and misappropriation of public funds in government. Speaking to the press, Nyoro said his previous silence on some national matters was due to the principle of collective responsibility in government, which he said limited his ability to publicly air dissenting views. Now, the legislator stated that he now feels free to speak out and promised to keep shining a spotlight on government performance.
I would request that we all check the reports that came out of the Parliamentary Budget Office in the last 3 years. And you check our stand on debt. And you check our stand on the things I'm talking about. And you'll see consistency in what we stand for. When you are serving in a capacity that I was serving before, just as you serve in any other capacity around government. Because as you understand, when in the positions of departmental committees and other committees like the one I was, you work very closely with the National Treasury and the government of that time. There is something called, I would call it collective responsibility. And this is what works politically. And I'm glad, and I'm sure, Bogo, you are glad that I've been there and I'm now here. Because at least now I can talk to you freely without having any issue of collective responsibility. And I am glad for this opportunity also.
Right, moving on, the Sugarcane and Industrial Workers Union has called off a strike by workers at 4 sugar factories that were formerly government-owned and are now leased to private investors. Union Secretary Francis Wangara and Chairman Bernard Wanyonyi announced the decision after consultations with the Central Organization of Trade Unions, that is Coastal Leadership. Now, the Coastal officials reportedly urged the union to suspend the strike to allow time for negotiations and to push the government to release 20 billion Kenya shillings owed to the workers. The suspended strike has threatened to disrupt operations at the 4 factories, affecting thousands of workers and cane farmers who rely on the industry for their livelihoods.
Fasi yenye Coastal Secretary General ameomba tumpe ili tuone anaweza kutusaidia namna gani. Kuna majadiliano, negotiations zinaendelea. Tunajaribu kuongea na viongozi wengine, tunajaribu kuongea na serikali. Kwa hivyo tunaomba viongozi wale wenye wako katika hizi viwanda wa union, tunaomba na wafanyakazi wetu kwamba mgomo wenye tulikuwa tumepanga ufanyike kwa sababu ya we are affiliates to Coastal. Tunawaomba kwamba waelewe, tutaendelea kuwasiliana nao, tutaendelea kuwapigania. Tuko kwa transition committee sisi kama viongozi wao.
As we speak, we are in the process of finalizing calculations and finding the figures that are supposed to be paid to the workers before 30th of October this year. Before this process started, we had a memorandum of understanding. And in the memorandum of understanding, we captured the issue of arrears that were supposed to be paid to the workers.
Now, thousands of households living in the flooded Kihoto informal settlement in Naivasha are facing danger following an invasion of hippos from Lake Naivasha. Residents say the months-long flooding has displaced wildlife from their natural habitats, forcing the hippos to move closer to human settlements in search of food and space. The situation has left families fearful of attacks, particularly at night when the hippos roam freely. Local leaders have urged the Kenya Wildlife Service, that is the KWS, to intervene urgently and drive the animals back to safer areas to prevent possible human-wildlife conflict.
Toka nje, usitoka nje, juu kiboko imejaa huku. Ukitoka hapa hivi ni kiboko. Saa moja tusipita pale juu ya kiboko. Kama iko msaada tunatusaidia tutoke hapa, itakuwa mzuri kabisa. You imagine kama inatoka chini.
Hapa kwa maji vile tuko hapa, tunateseka kabisa. Sababu hata kupita ni maji, umbu ndio hiyo, njaa ndio hiyo. Sisi tuna masuri, tunateseka kabisa. Sababu ukitoka hapa, ukielekea huko, unapita kwa maji. Kupita kwa maji unaweza teresa uanguke chini. Hakuna Kenya inakuja, biashara ya hapa imeharibika kabisa.
Nani huyo katika serikali ambaye anafaa kuhukumiwa na achukuliwe hatua wakati huu? Kwamba aliuzia wananchi mahali ambapo hafai kununua. In Kihoto area, na nimuombe Mr. President, mahali ambapo wako hawa watu wanahitaji usaidizi.
Wengine wasaa hama, wengine haja hama kwa sababu ya fedha. Wana pesa ya kuhamisha.
Right, now let's get sporty, and KCB RFC have been crowned the 2025 National Sevens Circuit champions after an impressive campaign that culminated in victory at the Dallas Sevens, the final leg of the SportPesa National Sevens Series hosted by Kisumu RFC at Mamboleo Showground. Now the Bankers secured the overall title after edging Strathmore Leos 15-14 in a tense quarter-final clash that doubled as the points decider. Now, the win marked KCB's 5th overall circuit title. Adding to their success, KCB went on to lift the Dallas Sevens trophy with the 12-5 victory over rivals Cabras Sugar in the final.
It's a good feeling always to captain a side and hopefully see results with the main cup win at the end of the day. And 6 finals, 6 legs. I think there's no mean feat to take from the boys. They've really worked so hard to play and have such an athlete. The driving force has been, I think, a game at a time, and just picking our wins and piling them upon, and playing a game at a time and winning. That's what has really driven us to 6 podiums, and we don't take anything for granted. I'd say Floyd is really coming of age as a winger, and I'm happy for him. Just happy to pick his learnings as the tournaments go by. My teammates, a bunch of warriors. I'd say I'll dedicate all this hard job to them, and I hope they enjoy and sail through.
I think it's just the belief, dedication of the players, hard work, sacrifice. KCB Bank has given us a platform to do well, and we are very grateful for our sponsors. They have lifted us. They have given us a platform to be able to celebrate today, and we are very glad for what we have achieved today. Everybody stood out. It's a matter of teamwork. It was not an individual that pushed us through. Everybody did their part. They gave out their 50%, and it came to 100. So I'm very proud of these boys, whatever they have achieved. I hope we'll be able to translate this to our 15th and to be able to just come back as KCB again. Congratulations. Never stop dreaming, never stop being hungry. Your time is now. Enjoy the moment and make memories.
All right, moving on, 15-year-old Cherono Kipkorir produced a stellar performance to emerge as the overall gross lady winner during the Royal Nairobi Golf Club leg of the 2025 NCBA Golf Series held on Saturday, September 14th. Now, the teenager, who famously won the same event in 2021 and just 11 years old, carded an impressive 79 strokes, playing off handicap 7 to outshine her senior counterparts and book a place at the grand finale scheduled for November 28th at the Muthaiga Golf Club. Now, joining Cherono in the list of qualifiers was 2025 Royal Nairobi Golf Club champion, that is Kevin Juma, who carded 71 off handicap 2 to claim the overall men winner title. The event attracted a strong field of 263 golfers.
The thing that I did notice about this particular event, which I think NCBA and Royal Selangor have actually, not Royal Nairobi, sorry, have put together, is a lot of organizations now copying this format. And there's a very, very good reason for that. I trust and hope that you enjoyed today and made lots of new friendships as I have today, and that it helps build a relationship. So for those of you who are customers of the bank, may I thank you very much for supporting us today, but I hope that you feel that we are also putting something back into the community. And for those of you who are not customers, this is a great organization to play golf with. So I would invite you to open an account, and maybe the chances of us joining together in the future will grow higher.
When you choose NCBA, you're making a powerful step towards securing both your personal and professional future. By trusting us, you make us part of your journey, just like Royal has done for over a decade. And it's our goal to ensure that every experience with us is exceptional. We believe that what matters to you, our customers, matter to us. And it drives our performance and commitment to want to serve you better across our network. We encourage you to explore our various solutions we have to help you grow on the financial front. Our teams at all the branches across the country and the region are ready to help you. Ladies and gentlemen, therefore, as we gear to the grand finale at the Muthaiga Golf Club, let us take a moment to applaud not only today's winners and participants, but also the meaningful engagements that we have made on and off the course. Once again, congratulations to today's winners and also on all who made this day possible.
Today I can say it was my day. I played well. Thank you for the sponsor. And what NCBA normally say, go for it. and today I went for it. Thank you very much.
Alright, it is exactly 30 minutes past the top of the hour. Many thanks, of course, keeping us company until this particular minute. Many thanks, Getty, Sami M, Mika, Kennedy, Jumba Sirigwa, Jeffrey Somba, it's Rina, Lauren Kelly, Chim, and of course, just but to name a few. Nasema asante sana for watching EBN Prime Edition. My name is Macharia. Our sign language interpreter tonight has been Laura Omondi. Do have yourself a good night. And as always, let's do this again when God says we do.